Welcome, everyone, to your full moon in Virgo Tarotscopes, for the full moon that we have on February 24th, 2024. We're going to talk all about this full moon and how you can make the most of it. Readings for every single sign. So sit back and enjoy your full moon in Virgo Tarotscopes. So we are in the time of Pisces. And if you've been following me, you may have heard that Pisces is the time of miracles, right? And it's very, very watery. You can take control of the entire astrological year when the sun is in Pisces. So keep that in mind. And with that in mind, we have a quote. We have a quote from Shakespeare. So in Shakespeare, Julius Caesar, this is Brutus talking to, I believe, Cassius, and he says, "There is a tide in the affairs of men, which, taken at the flood," Pisces rules floods, "leads on to fortune. Omitted, all the voyage of their life is bound in shallows and in miseries. On such a full sea, we are now afloat, and we must take the current when it serves, or lose our ventures." So, because the sun is in Pisces, on such a full sea, we are now afloat. So essentially, Pisces is the time of miracles. So if you find that what you've been wanting for a while is coming to you, well, strike while the iron is hot. Definitely look for those possibilities. Look for what you want, because this is the season where you can make major strides. You can shift into another timeline in which is much more preferable to you. So hopes, dreams, wishes can come true during this time. Definitely take advantage. We are on a full sea right now, right? And you want to definitely tap into that Pisces energy. Hello, Bot. Nice to see you. You're awake? Well, I'm glad you're awake. It's definitely time to wake up. I'm glad you're awake. I'm glad. Hello, Kelsey. You even made it today. I know, Sin. I know. And hi, Casmar. Nice to see you. So such a full sea, we are now afloat, folks. So definitely focus on your gratitude and focus on what you want, because that's what we get in life, what we want, what we focus on. So keep that in mind for sure. And remember this, super important. A grateful heart is a magnet for miracles. Trust me on this. Trust me on this. You can create miracles during Pisces season, and all miracles are based on love. So get rid of, during this full moon in Virgo cycle, anything that is not love. Remember, what is love flows, what is not goes. You want to have all of that love vibration around you, running through you, all around you, and then you're going to be able to create miracles, because all miracles are based on love. Such a full sea! We are now afloat, and you should definitely take advantage of it. Nice to see you, Grandma Nay. I'm glad you got to join me again. So anyway, with a grateful heart, we look at our Virgo full moon. Here are our implications or aspects. So just to refresh, full moons are a time of culmination, completion, and releasing. It's a moment to acknowledge and release what is done, what is over, and prepare for what's next. Remember, we have our new moon in Pisces. Very, very important. You can take control of the entire astrological year, which starts when the sun enters Aries during Pisces season. So you want to clear out any junk between now and March 10th. How's it going to affect you? Well, determine which house 5 degrees of Virgo falls in your astrology chart. We're going to ballpark it in this video. So you want to listen to the horoscope, Tarotscope for your sign and or rising sign, but definitely find out where that 5 degrees of Virgo falls in your chart, just to be sure. Because most people's houses are not even, right? So keep that in mind. As for aspects, there are 3 main ones. The moon in Virgo will oppose Mercury in Pisces. So this is going to highlight balancing meticulous work, Virgo, with broad visions, Pisces, promoting detailed planning and deep understanding. And the moon in Virgo will oppose Saturn in Pisces. This is the aspect we're all just a little bit concerned about, because Saturn says no, and Virgo by its very nature is very discriminating, very particular. So this is going to call for us to balance our practical needs with our spiritual lessons. It encourages discipline in emotions and insights. So wherever you have Saturn in Pisces, wherever you have Pisces in your chart at, let's see, Pisces is in Saturn at, so yeah, wherever you have Saturn at 9 degrees, Pisces at 9 degrees, you're probably going to need to reel it in. You're probably going to need to be more in control. That's where you're going to have work. Wherever Saturn is transiting in your chart, right now it's at 9 Pisces, that's where you're going to have to double down and bring it. And of course, there are going to be challenges to wherever that full moon falls in your chart, wherever 5 degrees of Virgo falls in your chart, because there's an opposition with Saturn. So we're going to have to work really hard to a certain extent, curbing our impulses, doing what we need to do, doing the right thing. But we also have an amazing trine. The moon in Virgo will trine Jupiter in Taurus. This is lovely, fostering meticulous growth with stability, blending detailed ambition with fruitful expansion. This aspect reminds me of 8 of Pentacles. If you know 8 of Pentacles, it's things coming along nicely. You've watered your garden, you've nurtured maybe your relationships, your work, and before you know it, your garden is beautiful. It's perfect. So keep that in mind. It's going to be great. Hey, Sonia, nice to see you. I'm glad you're here. I'm glad you're here. Thank you for joining. So additionally, do listen for your sign, your rising sign, for your full moon Tarotscopes. So Aries, I'm going to start with Aries, of course, the very first sign in the zodiac. So again, what we're going to be doing is looking at Tarotscopes. Now, these Tarotscopes, horoscopes, are about the cycle from this full moon from February 24th to March 9th, right before that new moon. So these are relevant for 2 weeks, starting February 24th. So Aries, your full moon will be in your 6th house. So you're completing work projects and you're streamlining routines. For you, it's really about getting your life in complete working order. What files need to be filed, what work needs to be done, what do you need to do to get your life running like a well-oiled machine. And luckily for you, you got Jupiter in your 2nd house of money, and your 2nd house has to do with your talents, your skills. So tap into your talents and your self-worth for some big paydays. You could be making a lot of money this full moon, or technically it's removing blocks to making a lot of money. And you got to think, the 6th house is lining up nicely with your 2nd house. So you could think about making your routines more streamlined, or incorporating something into your routines and letting that make you more money. So it might be a matter of rearranging things in such a way that you're also working on this project, or you're exploring this other talent that you have for some extra income. So essentially, you want to get your life in order and think about the money that you want to make and what do you need to do to facilitate that? Like, what are your nuts and bolts day-to-day operations that are going to bring more money into your life? It might even be literally clearing your space, because you want to have a clear space so the money can flow into your life. So let's see what wisdom, Aries, you get for your full moon in Virgo. Wisdom for Aries, full moon Virgo. Wisdom for Aries. Aries. So, Aries, you want to get rid of anxiety. 9 of Swords is essentially overthinking things and getting anxious and thinking and overthinking. And you got to get rid of that this full moon. Just get rid of it. So in this card, you see this dude who's lying in his bed. He's awake at night. Maybe it may have been some like dreams that woke him up, night tremors, or just anxiety or worrying. But on his blanket is actually the signs of the zodiac. You actually can see the symbols of the zodiac on his blankie, which says that even during times that are troubling, you always have spirit on your side. You always have the universe on your side. So keep in mind that you can stay in the present moment because that's where you have power. When you're dealing with Nine of Swords, you're probably anxious about what's going to happen, but all your power is in the now. So maybe you are superimposing a past trauma or situation on a present or yet to happen future situation. So do what you can to release this full moon, any stress, anxiety, overthinking, etc. Think of all the things that could go right. And again, your power is in the now. So focus in the now. Make peace of mind your only goal because you have your season coming up. Things are going to come along nicely, but you've got to rest that brain of yours. So quiet down the mind. And happy full moon. Taurus. Taurus, happy full moon. This is a very friendly full moon to you because you and Virgo are both earth signs. And what's cool is that this full moon is going to be hitting your 5th house. Now, the 5th house is anything that lights you up, anything that brings you great joy. It could be your creativity, including your children if you have any kids. It also could be romance, love, anything that makes you feel really alive and sort of like a kid inside, right? So this is a wonderful time for you. You may embrace creative expression during this time, and you may finalize romantic gestures. You may send flowers to somebody that you really like, or do something that sort of completes and formalizes something, or it could be the opposite. You could be like, yeah, this person's not really for me. You might also be finalizing creative projects or doubling down on them, adjusting them. Now, Jupiter, Taurus, planet of luck and fortune, is in your sign. It's been in your sign, and it's making a beautiful aspect to this full moon. So you want to focus on your personal growth and your physical appearance for new beginnings. And your perception, right? Because the 1st house has to do with that. So there's a nice link, Taurus, between your creativity and your romance and the things that light you up, what brings you joy, and your identity. So maybe you never self-identified as somebody who was an artist, or maybe you never saw yourself as somebody who could be really fulfilled in a romantic relationship. Well, it's time to throw those old ideas out the window and start aligning with how you are somebody who can have a lot of fun. If you're looking to have children, for instance, another 5th house thing, you got to see yourself as somebody who is able to do that, right? That you will be a good parent. So keep that in mind. And let's see, Taurus, what wisdom you get from the tarot for your full moon in Virgo. Wisdom for Taurus. 4 of Swords. So this is about resting, right? With 4 of Swords, it is a strong sign that you need to relax, that you need to rest, that you need to calm down the mind. In this card, you have this guy, and he looks like he might be dead, but really, he's meditating. He's quieting down the mind. So this is a call for you to, I almost said unplug the phone, shut off your phone, lock the door, keep people not at bay, but do whatever you can to really quiet down the mind. Maybe that is taking a time out, taking a beat, right? Take a beat. So the 4 of Swords is also the mind watching itself. So don't believe everything that you think and allow yourself to make peace of mind the only goal with 4 of Swords. Quiet things down, get the mind in order because things are changing for you, right? You have Jupiter in your sign, you have Uranus in your sign, and you're a sign that does not like change typically, right? So you want to make sure that you're quieting down the mind and you have peace there, so you can make good decisions that are good for you. Those decisions that are going to nourish you. So keep that in mind, and happy full moon. Happy full moon, Taurus. So Gemini, happy full moon. This full moon in Virgo is hitting your 4th house of home and family and emotional security. So it's time for you to settle domestic affairs, and it's really the perfect time to declutter your living space. Maybe you need to renovate your home. Maybe you got to find a new home, or maybe you're making your home more comfortable. The big thing is, though, with the 4th house, a 4th house transit, it's about emotional security. So you got to find out what keeps you from feeling emotionally secure, what keeps you from feeling yummy on the inside, all tucked in, unconditionally loved, supported, comfortable. Anything that does not make you feel comfortable, do yourself a favor, get rid of it this full moon. Meanwhile, Jupiter, planet of luck and expansion, is transiting your 12th house. So most of the expansion you're going to do this full moon cycle, Gemini, will be behind the scenes. When you're sleeping, when you're meditating, when you're visualizing. So you want to cultivate emotional security this full moon by releasing anything that no longer feels good, but you also want to play over in your mind the idea that you can feel good, the idea that you can achieve your dreams. Visualize what you want to have happen and get extra sleep. You got to remember, Gemini, that Jupiter, come May 25th, is going to be in your sign. You're going to be the celestial favorite. So you're going to have a lot of luck, a lot of opportunities coming to you this spring. So you want to make sure you're in a good position to handle all of that expansion and growth. So get your rest now. Allow yourself to, certainly don't give yourself the luxury of a negative thought, but focus on what you want. Look at all the best case scenarios in the different areas of your life. Play over what you want, right? Visualize it and get yourself some extra rest, because you're going to be expanding and growing. So you want to make sure you have a peaceful, rested mind. Well, let's see, Gemini, what wisdom you get from the tarot for your full moon in Virgo. Wisdom for Gemini, wisdom for Gemini, wisdom for Gemini. 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 Ooh, Wheel of Fortune. Oh boy, Gemini. So when the Wheel of Fortune spins, change is afoot, right? You might get a sense of, oh, geez, is this destiny? There might be a new job. There might be a new relationship. There might be a new friend that really changes the course of your life. But there's some kind of opportunity that's around you. Now, Gemini, you got to be careful here, because when the Wheel of Fortune spins, what you want to do, you want to be at the hub of the wheel, grounded, secure, and you're going to look at the wheel and say, oh, opportunity, and I'm going to jump on the wheel. But you've got to stay centered at the hub of the wheel. You can't be in the wheel, tossed about by other people's actions and what goes on. You've got to be centered at the hub so you can see what is going on and say, okay, opportunity, I'm going to take that. Or it could be a sense of, oh, this is happening again. I'm not going to do that again. Right? So you got to maintain control at the hub of the wheel. Look at what opportunities are presented to you and make a decision. Do you want this? Is this going to make you expand and grow and make you happier? Or is this going to steal your spark? Right? Also with the Wheel of Fortune, in light especially, this is Jupiter, and Jupiter is going to be entering your sign. So you may get a sense of what is to come this spring, how you want to expand and grow. And again, it's a very emotional transit for you. You got the full moon in the 4th, you got Jupiter in the 12th. Get your rest, meditate, visualize, do affirmations, feel good, and calm your mind. And again, just play over and over again what you want, because we get what we focus on. So happy full moon. I'm excited for you, Gemini. I think it's going to be a good one. Cancer. So Cancer, happy full moon. You are doing having this full moon in Virgo hitting your third house of communications. So you might be wrapping up projects, wrapping up paperwork. You might be changing something in your daily regimes, things that you do every day socially. Maybe you go to this coffee shop and you've been going to this coffee shop for a while and you're like, you know what? I'm really done with them. I'm done with them and I'm done with their coffee. I'm going to try it at a new coffee shop. Or maybe you are thinking, I really don't want to be looking at this subject anymore. And you might be finishing up some communications. So you want to wrap up communications, what you do on a regular basis. There might be some things that you no longer want to do anymore or that have just reached its course, right? Meanwhile, Jupiter, planet of luck and fortune, is transiting your 11th house. So this is really, really good. So the 11th house is the house of hopes, dreams, wishes, and ideals. And Jupiter there is a very, very nice thing. So in order for you to expand and grow, you are going to do best by tapping into your community, your network, your friends. So you want to seek opportunities for expansion and growth through networking and community engagement. So what this might mean is with your full moon in your third house, maybe you need to get really organized. Maybe you got to cut things out of your life and you need to say, well, how am I going to spend time with my friends who will empower you to reach your goals? Or how am I going to spend time with this new group? Maybe you need to connect with a group of like-minded people to make your dreams come true. And if that is the case, there might be some things that you need to wrap up, some things you need to stop doing. So let's see, Cancer, what wisdom you get from the tarot for your full moon in Virgo. Wisdom for Cancer. Well, you can't beat this with a stick. The sun. So Cancer, this is a brand new beginning for you. The sun card is the best of everything. The best situation in terms of love, in terms of business, in terms of friendship, health, right? This is about vitality. So with the sun card, it really does sort of echo, I think, in some respects, the 11th house, although the 11th house is associated with Aquarius. The sun is associated with Leo. That Leo energy is really big here with the sun, but it's a new beginning and it's great creativity for you. So I would say that you want to allow yourself to let yourself feel like a sun god or goddess. How would you feel? You'd probably be profoundly sure of your power. You probably would be shining on everyone. You might be very, very creative and prone to engage in teamwork and showmanship. So this is a wonderful card for you, Cancer. It's a new beginning. This is about you getting vindicated. This is about you being the winner. So what I would consider doing, especially since you're so subconsciously oriented, ruled by the moon, again, play over in your mind, what does it feel like to be celebrated? What does it feel like to be victorious? You want to align with that vibration because there's probably some really cool things coming to you this full moon. So definitely enjoy. Are you supposed to go outside? I would go outside, yeah. Because the thing is that we have healing all around us when we go outside. We have the sun, we have fresh air, we have plants, we have pets, we have trees and whatnot. And sometimes you can get information from the world, the elements. So I would definitely go outside if you can. Yes, and spending time with real people in real life, it's usually a good rule of thumb. Yes, I would definitely do that. Why not? You know? And if you, I believe you're a Cancer, Grandma Nay. So sometimes Cancers are hypersensitive people. They tend to want to avoid other people just because they can affect them negatively. But what you want to do is you want to put a guard around you, right? Like an armor. So you are able to go forward and achieve your goals and engage with other people while not being negatively affected should they wind up being difficult or problematic. So put on your guard and engage, and definitely get some fresh air. Definitely get some fresh air. Additionally, Leo, happy full moon, Leo. Money bags, Leo, with your full moon hitting your second house of finances. Stand by for a loan, Leo. rich, rich, rich this full moon. So yeah, the full moon in Virgo will be hitting your second house of money and self-esteem. So it's time for you to assess your financial strategies and secure your assets. What does it feel like to be rich? What does it feel like to be really, really valuable? How can you increase your self-esteem and your self-worth? Of course, there's a link between your self-worth and the money that you have. How can you explore your talents? I think the big thing for you, Leo, is any self-limiting beliefs about yourself, but also about money. Like, do you believe that the universe is abundant? Do you believe that there's plenty of money for everybody? If you don't, if you have any limiting beliefs with regard to that, get rid of them this full moon. Throw out old templates that suggest you can only make so much or that you'll always be at this financial category. Even if you're rich, maybe you've reached this point where like, yeah, well, I probably won't be making more than this. This is good. Well, no, there's no ceiling when it comes to wealth. You just want to make sure that you're expressing and creating and sharing so it continues to move, right? You want to create that flow. Abundance is a flow. So what I would consider doing, Leo, is flowing with your talents and sharing your creativity with other people, publishing, broadcasting, romancing, whatever it is that you can do to express yourself. Meanwhile, Leo, Jupiter, planet of luck and fortune, is in your 10th of status. So if you want to make a big move professionally, this might be a great moon for it. Might be a great moon for it. So you have a lot of luck in your professional sector. And that 10th house does often have to do with romantic partners. Especially if a romantic partner will give you status or any kind of partnership, that 10th house. It would be a husbandry, right? So the big thing for you, Leo, is there's an opportunity this full moon for you to not just make money, but also to rise in status. And it could be a link. Maybe you get a new job or you take on a new position. Not only is there a new job and new responsibilities, but more money. And that does make sense. So really think about where you want to be in the world and see how that could be especially profitable for you. Also, you may want to leverage your status to make more money. But this is a wonderful opportunity. It's a very professional time for you, Leo. I would definitely look at how you can utilize your talents, raise your status, and your income. So let's see, Leo, what wisdom you get from the tarot. Wisdom for Leo. Wisdom. Justice. Great card. So in anything in life, you get back what you put into it, right? Justice, right? So think about what needs to be balanced in your life. What do you want and what do you need to give in order to get it? And I also would say with justice, they also call this the satisfied woman, which is nice. Justice card or Libra is often associated with the iron hand and the velvet glove, right? So you want to balance things, be very logical. And I also would say with the Justice card, be satisfied, because this is the satisfied woman. Be satisfied, but eager for more. That is the perfect vibrational space in which you're happy with the way things are going, but hey, you might like more, i.e., well, I'm very grateful I have this money, but of course I want more. I'm grateful I have this love, but of course I want more, right? So be satisfied and eager for more, and that's going to help you manifest. Balance things, make adjustments, especially in terms of your finances. Maybe this full moon for you is saying like, oh, geez, I've been subscribing to this thing and I don't even use it. And then before you know it, you're saving $50 a month. That could be great. But balance things out and get satisfied. Be satisfied and eager for more. Yes, you are the Leo woman and you need to create again. Well, this is a good moon for it. This is a good moon for it, Sin. Happy full moon in Virgo. And Virgo, happy full moon in your sign. This is exciting. Exciting. Full moon in your sign. So the focus is on your personal reinvention and completing self-improvement plans. First house is where the full moon is for you, which has to do with a lot of things, right? It has to do with your body. It has to do with your perspective, your perception. And remember, we see things not as they are, but as we are. And everybody in our lives is ourselves pushed inside out. So you want to change your perception to see what you want to see. Look at wonder at that which is before you, right? Change your perception of yourself and the universe to something that is more aligned with your ideals. You might be using this full moon to release something from your personality that you don't want anymore. Maybe you feel like you can sometimes be overly picky or overly cautious. And you don't think it's going to be a problem if you loosen up a little bit. So maybe you release self-criticism, right? Meanwhile, Jupiter, planet of luck and expansion, is in your 9th house. So this is a wonderful full moon for you to expand and grow. Maybe you're ready to take on a publishing or a broadcast project. Maybe you want to go into school, right? Or learn something more, do a deep dive into another subject. But essentially, you're expanding and growing. So because you have a beautiful trine between your 1st and 9th houses, what you want to do is you want to self-identify as somebody who is able to expand and grow. So you want to see yourself as somebody who is expanding, maybe even teaching. That's a 9th house thing. And yeah, enjoy your full moon. Let's see what wisdom you get from the tarot, this full moon in Virgo for Virgo. Wisdom for Virgo. Wisdom for Virgo. Ah, 7 of Swords. Oh, sneaky, sneaky, sneaky. That's perhaps the advice for you this full moon. The 7 of Swords is, if you see this guy, he's on his tiptoes and he has all these swords. The swords could be about like ideas. It could be sneaking away. It also could be on its best day, appeasement and diplomacy. So essentially what you want to do is certainly be diplomatic, but you may be right now making plans for your future. And with the 7 of Swords, it's a matter of you got to gather these ideas. You got to do your research. You got to prepare. And you may want to, since you probably love research, if you're a Virgo, do some preparation in terms of, okay, well, if I want this, I have to be more like this. Because this full moon is in your 1st house, which has to do with your personality. And of course, your personality creates your personal reality. So you may want to look at what you want to do and who is doing it and what personality traits do they have. No, you don't have to completely copy them, but maybe you need to implement something in your personality that they have so you can too do what they do. So keep that in mind. Get your ducks in a row, be diplomatic, and really allow yourself to plan and gather intel during this period, which makes a lot of sense, especially with Saturn opposing. And happy full moon in your sign. Libra. Happy full moon, Libra. So this full moon for you is hitting your 12th. And the 12th house is behind the scenes activity. It's the stuff that goes on in the subconscious mind. It pertains to sleep. It can be rest. It can be visualization. It can be hypnosis. And it can be quietude, privacy, spirituality. So you got to remember that we have our sun entering Aries soon. That's your opposite sign, which means, well, on March 25th, we're going to have a full moon in your sign. So you're going to be on March 25th. Use this time now to slow it down, get some extra rest, do whatever it is that you can to quiet down the mind and see the future that you want. relax, get your extra rest this full moon. Meanwhile, Jupiter is in your 8th house, which is pretty awesome. So Jupiter in the 8th is really about you expanding and growing, getting stronger through boundaries. So the general rule of thumb is if something makes you feel good, you release your boundary. You put down your arms and you let somebody in, metaphorically, right? Or literally, quite frankly, right? Or if something's not making you feel good, boop, you set up a boundary and you say no. So keep that in mind. Something makes you feel good, open yourself up. Something makes you feel bad, set a boundary, because that's what is going to help you expand and grow during this time. Additionally, it's an emotional transit for you with Jupiter in your 8th and the full moon in your 12th. So, sorry, something in my eye. So you want to make sure you're getting as much rest as possible. Get as much rest as possible, Libra, and just visualize what you want. Look at how you want to transform, because that's where Jupiter is for you this cycle. It's in your house of transformation. So look at what you want to transform, how you want to grow. It also might be a matter of, well, where do you want to combine resources with somebody else? Maybe you want to go into business with somebody, or maybe you're looking for an intimate partner. Now's a really great time with the 12th house transit that you're going through to play over in your mind. How do you want your business partnerships to be? What partner are you looking for? How do you want your investments to go? Especially if you're investing. You got Jupiter in your 8th house. This is a great time for investing. So you want to play over in your mind how you want things to be and put stock in yourself, right? Because that's the stock that can definitely grow no matter what. So let's see, Libra, what wisdom you get from the tarot for your full moon in Virgo. Wisdom for Libra, wisdom for Libra, wisdom for Libra, wisdom for Libra. King of Cups. So essentially, Libra, this is time for you to develop emotional mastery. You want to be aware of your emotions. You want to be loving and caring and kind and receive that in return, but you don't want your emotions to control you. So you need to sort of masculinize and be mature when it comes to yourself emotionally during this period, which makes perfect sense. The 12th house where your full moon is and the 8th house where that Jupiter is, and that's a trine. It is 2 water houses, right? So you want to make sure that in the process of you emotionally transforming, you maintain that level of maturity and strength, and do whatever it is that you can to recognize and value and understand your emotions, but don't act out on them. Be very mature during this period. Look at your emotions and really look at what emotions you do want to experience in the future. With Jupiter entering Gemini, that's going to make a nice trine to your sign. So this spring could be really, really great for you. So play over what you want and be mature emotionally. And happy full moon. Scorpio. Scorpio. So you got your full moon, Scorpio, in your 11th house, which is very nice. So this is a great time for you to strengthen and evaluate your friendships and your community of like-minded people. This could be a matter of you're like, you know what? This person is not a good friend. I don't want this person in my life anymore. Or this community doesn't represent the values that I now have. Or you could be like, oh my God, I met this amazing, great new friend. I'm so excited. Or I found this really great group. And then you're going to commit to the group, right? So you want to do that. Strengthen and evaluate your friendships and your community involvement. You definitely want to tap into community if you can, but during this full moon cycle, you're releasing. Maybe you're releasing resistance to a community or a friend that you really do like, right? That you know is good for you. Meanwhile, you're very lucky when it comes to partnerships. In fact, if you have a partner, they are likely to be doing very well during this time with Jupiter in your 7th house. So you can find balance and growth in your partnerships, and you can embrace mutual aspirations. So there's a wonderful link between your hopes, dreams, and goals and your partnerships. So what you may want to do, Scorpio, say you're looking for a honey, right? Because you get Jupiter in your 7th. Now's a really good time to do that. You might actually find them through a friend or through a group that you're around, right? Likewise, if you are looking for a group or some new friends, your partner may be able to facilitate that. So it should be a very good full moon for you, Scorpio. Let's see what wisdom we get from the cards for your full moon in Virgo. Wisdom for Scorpio. Wisdom for Scorpio. Wisdom for Scorpio. This is your card. One of your cards, Queen of Cups. So the Queen of Cups is fixed water, which is you, Scorpio, and water is about emotion. So when you look into a body of water, what do you see? You see your reflection. Likewise, when people look at you, because you're so honest and so caring, that they see themselves, right? So you want to allow yourself to tap into your caring, nurturing side during this period. The Queen of Cups is about emotional integrity. So it's a matter of this full moon for you may be about really looking at how you've been feeling. Sometimes we don't like how we feel, so we suppress it. I'm fine, everything's good, and that's a problem because then it builds, or we suppress it, we try to stuff it down. So you want to utilize this full moon to really get a handle on how you feel. Remember, feelings are temporary, but you want to not suppress or reject how you feel. You want to own how you feel, accept it, and then maybe release it, right? Release it. Maybe you write a letter that you don't send, or maybe you burn a piece of paper of things that no longer feel good. But you want to be at one with your emotions, and then you can transform your emotions, right? And it's a really great time for caring and loving other people, and even celebrations, because the queens in the tower are throned on the threes, and the Three of Cups is all about celebrations. So love the people that you're around and enjoy your friends and community. It should be a nice full moon for you. Sagittarius. Happy full moon in Virgo, Sagittarius. So this full moon for you, Sag, is hitting your 10th. So go get that trophy. Go get that trophy. It really is a time for you to release any blocks to where you want to be professionally. This might be a time in which, honestly, somebody in your career might be exiting stage left, which is going to give you an opportunity to move up, right? You want to look at what is in your way professionally. What are your professional goals and what is in your way to achieving them, right? So full moon in your 10th, it's highlighting your achievements. You want to look and see what you've achieved thus far. Give yourself a pat in the back. Sagittarius is a fire sign. They're usually very forward thinking. And they're not very easily impressed by others or themselves, but you want to really look at what you've achieved. Oh, thank you very much, Casmar. That's very generous of you. I do appreciate it. Thank you. So you want to look at what you have achieved so far, okay? And you want to really look at what you want to do next. Where's your arrow, right? Because you're Sagittarius. Where do you want to go next? And what might be in the way? And then you want to release. You want to release anything that's in the way of your professional goals. Meanwhile, Jupiter's in your 6th house, making a gorgeous trine to this full moon. So you want to make sure that you're really organized, that you're doing the things day in and day out that align with your professional goals, right? Maybe if you are going up the ladder professionally, you're going to need a better wellness routine. You're going to meditate. You're going to have to meditate in the morning. Or, you know that you get very angsty if you don't exercise. Well, you're going to probably have to implement exercise. Or maybe you feel like you're moody when you have sugar. Well, you may need to cut out sugar, right? But right now you can expand in your career alongside your routines. So what routines, the things you do day in and day out, what habits can you employ in your life or get rid of that are going to help you reach your professional goals? Super easy, right? So let's see, Sagittarius, what wisdom you get from the tarot for your full moon in Virgo. Wisdom for Sagittarius. Wisdom for Sagittarius. The star! How perfect, right? So the star card, it essentially is all about hope and inspiration, divine inspiration, a blending of artistic and scientific inspiration. So you're about to be inspired, and the star also has to do with unexpected help and surprises. So I would expect the unexpected, and I would allow yourself to utilize this full moon to just release anything that doesn't feel good and really think, like, if I could do anything at all without failing, what would that be? Because the star says you want to go after it. You want to get your lights on, right? And determine what is going to make you happy. So the star card's really good. Expect help from unexpected sources. And remember, you're a Sagittarius, so you're very, very lucky. So if you can dream it and you can think it and you can believe it, you can achieve that level of inspiration. So happy full moon, Sagittarius. Definitely go after those shiny apples on the tree for sure. And Capricorn. Well, Capricorn, happy full moon. The full moon is in friendly Virgo, friendly to your sign, Virgo. And it's hitting your 9th house. So you might be completing a publishing project. You might be completing a broadcast. Maybe you're completing a class or finishing up travel plans. But essentially, the 9th house is all about your expansion and your growth. And you're putting a cap on it. You're like, okay, well, I've achieved this. Now what? So wrap up projects, especially publishing broadcast projects. If you've been dying to go someplace across the world, well, now's a really good time to make your travel plans, especially since Mercury is still in good standing. And remember, though, that Mercury will be in its pre-shadow period come St. Patrick's Day, March 17th. So finalize things now if you can, because there may be more hiccups when Mercury slows down. Meanwhile, Capricorn, Jupiter is in your 5th house, and the 5th house is all about things that light you up, things that make you really, really happy, things that you really, really love. This could be your creative projects. This could be romance. There could be a great new honey in your life. And it's all about joy and inspiration. So this could be, if you combine them, maybe you take a trip with somebody that you're really, really into, that you're really attracted to. Or maybe you find somebody, you find true love on a trip. Or maybe you find true love through college or education or classes. But there's a wonderful link between your 9th house of expansion and your 5th house of play. So maybe you link the two. Maybe you decide that I'm going to do this publishing project, or I'm going to broadcast this, and it's very playful and joyful, right? But you want to somehow combine that 9th house and 5th house, Capricorn, because this could be a great time for you to really expand and grow by doing things that you really love. Also, it doesn't necessarily have to be a direct link. For instance, you could find true love, and then you find that it helps you to expand and grow professionally or personally, right? So definitely have fun and look for areas in which you can expand and grow and what you need to wrap up. What projects can you wrap up? What education can you wrap up? So let's see, Capricorn, what wisdom you get from the tarot for your full moon in Virgo. Wisdom for it. Oh, 5 of Swords. So the 5 of Swords, essentially, a few definitions to this. Number one, you could just be fearing defeat. Capricorns are very, very cautious, right? They were born during a time in which they've had to have a lot of responsibility. So they were often deprived of a normal childhood. The good news is that as Capricorns age, they actually grow old in reverse, i.e., they get to actually loosen up as they get older and have more fun. And the cool thing with that is they actually physically age in reverse too. Like a Capricorn will typically look younger at 40 than she does at 30, younger at 60 than 50. So it's understandable, Capricorn, how you might fear defeat, but you mustn't do that. Maybe utilize this full moon in Virgo to get rid of any fears that you will not succeed. I also would say with the Five of Swords, it's about self-interest, and sometimes it's important to have self-interest and to watch your back, and other times it's unnecessary, right? I feel like with the Five of Swords, the big advice is look for the win-win result that you can have with other people. And if you're looking around, you're like, oh, geez, well, my winning is all about somebody else's losing, or my winning equates to somebody else's losing, or somebody else's losing equates to my winning. Well, you got to change that around. This is your reality. You're creating this defeatist idea, right, in your brain, and you're experiencing it. So go for win-win results. Not everybody is out to get you. And if you feel that the people that are around you right now can't be trusted, I hate to break it to you, but neither can you. You can't be trusted. Maybe you can't be trusted to support yourself or whatever. But you want to let go of any form of defeatist thinking. You want to go for those win-win resolutions and results. So think about how you might be fearful of defeat. And if you have anybody around you that you have to be with, say you're in a partnership and you're managing to get out of the partnership, well, yeah, you may have to watch your back. But I think the big thing is you want to release defeat, fear of defeat, and also just those alliances that have you on guard and having to lie and be shifty. And you want to trust your intuition. If you feel like there's anybody around you that is undermining you, well, protect yourself, but most importantly, get them out of your life. Like life is too short. You don't need people like this in your life. So keep that in mind, Capricorn, and happy full moon. Aquarius. So Aquarius, this full moon is hitting your 8th house of sex, death, taxes, boundaries. It's really about boundaries, the 8th house. And it's about finances, usually your partner's finances, investments as well. So you're navigating your financial partnerships and your investment decisions carefully. So maybe this is a matter of really looking at where you're aligned with a business partner and really assessing what's going on with that business partner. Maybe you are looking at your investments, maybe literally your stock investments, and you're retooling and saying, okay, well, I might want to do this instead of that. But also your emotional investments. You might be saying, you know what, I've been investing in this person so much, I'm not getting anything back. Well, then you put up a boundary. Or maybe you've been totally dismissive and somebody's been investing in you and you're like, oh, geez, I got to let my guard down a little bit. I got to let this person in. In any case, you're removing blocks this full moon to your transformation. You're having to let go of your hesitancy to change and transform. The 8th house is all about transformation. Full moon is about letting go. So you're releasing blocks to going to that next level. You're releasing blocks to transformation. Meanwhile, lucky you got Jupiter on an angle in your 4th house. So Jupiter is the planet of luck, abundance, and this is hitting your home and family sector. It really is, the 4th house really is about your emotional security. What makes you feel at home within the self? What makes you feel yummy on the inside, all tucked in, taken care of, and unconditionally loved? Because that is where you're going to be able to expand and grow. And if you have emotional security, there's really nothing that you cannot do. So Jupiter in your 4th, it's about really tapping into that divine mother energy, making sure you're loving yourself, you're caring for yourself, and you're making yourself comfortable. And really, with the full moon in your 8th, to make yourself more comfortable, you may need to die, metaphorically. You may need to release something from your life. You may need to set a boundary with somebody else or dissolve a boundary with somebody else. So it's an emotional transit for you, Aquarius, but it's very fulfilling. It's very fulfilling so long as you're able to be flexible. Because an 8th house transit requires change. You're not the best at change. You're a fixed sign. But think about what you need to let go of or what you need to bring in order to make you feel more emotionally secure. So let's see what wisdom, Aquarius, you get for your full moon in Virgo. Wisdom for Aquarius. Wisdom for Aquarius. King of Cups. So essentially, the King of Cups is about emotional maturity. The King is about maturity, and the Cups are about love. So you want to be aware of your emotions during this period. It is an emotional transit, but you don't need to let them rule you, right? You want to allow yourself to be emotionally mature during this period. If there are any feelings that you're having, you want to look at them, accept them, and because it's a full moon cycle, say, you know what? I'm done feeling this. I felt it fully, and now I'm done. I've gotten out of my system. And I think that that is a really good adage. Get it out of your system for this full moon. What do you need to release that is going to make you feel more emotionally secure? And in the process, can you be emotionally mature about it? Be mature in setting a boundary or be mature in releasing a boundary. But it should be good. It's all about emotional mastery for you this full moon. I hope you have fun with it. And last but never least, my Pisces, one of my favorite signs. So for you, Pisces, this full moon in Virgo is hitting your 7th house of partnerships. So you may be committing to somebody, to a significant relationship, or concluding, giving somebody their walking papers, or you could be committing to them. I think I love you, you could say to somebody. You may be feeling that. That might be really nice. You might feel like, oh, geez, I found him. This is the one. Oh, boy. Or likewise, you might be like, yeah, this is absolutely not the one for me. And I also don't really like that phrase, the one. There's more than one. You don't have just one. As romantic as it might be to think you have the one, I don't think that that's very wise. In any case, you are committing or concluding significant relationships or contracts in your life. Meanwhile, Jupiter is in your 3rd house, buzzing around in your mind. So you have a lot of great ideas during this period, Pisces. It's time for you to engage in enriching communications and learning and fostering curiosity and connections. So the Jupiter in the 3rd, it's a very, very social transit. It's very intellectual. It's very, very heady. And you get a lot of these ideas. It's a really good time to journal, write things down, clear your mind. But there's a wonderful link between your relationships and your communications. So if you can communicate clearly, you're going to be able to go to that next level professionally. Be it maybe you're even transforming a partnership, right? It might not be a matter of you're saying yes or you're saying no, but you're like, okay, well, we got to change what we have going on here, right? But communication is really good and it's going to help you with your partnerships. And I also would say that with the 3rd house Jupiter that you have going on right now, your communication skills are going to help you make those moves in your partnerships that are very advantageous, whether you're closing a door, opening a door, or adjusting the door. So let's see, Pisces, what wisdom you get from the tarot for your full moon in Virgo. Wisdom for Pisces. So, 5 of Swords, 5 of Pentacles. So what you need to do this full moon is got to release anything that undermines your self-worth. Anything that makes you feel bad about yourself, identifying as somebody who doesn't have self-worth, you got to get rid of that. Because this is a transit for you in which you're going to be able to really release anything that makes you feel as if you're not worthy, right? You have a 7th house transit coming up. This is a full moon in your 7th house. So you're releasing anything negative in regard to partnerships, right? And a big part of that might be releasing your beliefs about yourself that are not conducive to good relationships, i.e., if you feel like you're not worthy of love, you're going to attract partners who do not appreciate you. So you got to get rid of anything that makes you feel bad. You got to get rid of insecurity. So think about those things that make you feel insecure. Know that they're just not true and replace them. Plan to replace them because you had a new moon in your sign on the 10th of March. So during this period now, anything that makes you feel bad, anything that undermines your self-worth, any self-limiting beliefs, any insecurities, get rid of them. And it's a full moon in Virgo. So you can literally clean up and be like, okay, I'm cleaning out this trash. As I'm taking out the trash, I'm also releasing any low self-worth, or I'm releasing any limiting beliefs that I may have about myself. And then you'll be in really a good position come that new moon. So keep that in mind. And there we have it, folks. Thank you so much for joining me for your full moon in Virgo Tarotscopes. I hope you enjoyed them. This is a freshly washed wooden floor. I believe that it probably was washed with Murphy's oil soap, which is my favorite for wood floors. So thank you very much for watching. I do appreciate it. And of course, well, if you're looking for some extra guidance or help this full moon cycle, well, you can get a reading, a psychic astrology reading. We'll look at your cards, find out what's on the horizon, and read your chart to see what things you can take advantage of. And the reading you get will help you make empowered decisions. And if you're looking for more constant, regular support, well, I do life coaching as well. So you can transform your life and reach your goals with game-changing coaching. My coaching involves your astrology, the transits that are going on, metaphysical techniques that you will love if you're interested in coaching. And of course, every Thursday night, we have Thursday Night Lights, 9 p.m. Eastern via Zoom. We do a metaphysical class along with some group coaching. So check out that if you are so inclined. The link to all of that information is in the description below. So thank you all so much for joining me, especially live, but even if you're watching the replay, I do appreciate it. And I hope you have a wonderful full moon. Thank you, Kasmar. I do appreciate it. And you too, Kelsey. So take good care, everybody. Clean up your vibration, clean up your spaces. And again, you want to make room for those miracles. And all miracles are based on love. And remember, there's a full sea that we're afloat on right now, or whatever that quote might be. So definitely take advantage of Pisces season and get rid of things that do not feel good. And happy full moon.